This is DD India and you're watching Express News, a program where we bring you top 100 news of the day. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's begin. India's President Draupadi Murmu inaugurated and addressed the gathering at Mahayogi Guru Gorakhnath Ayush University at Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh. President Murmu attended the exhibition at the Guru Gorakhnath Ayush University. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and Governor Anandiben Patel were also present. National Doctors' Day is being observed in India today, honouring the relentless commitment, compassion and service of the country's medical professionals. This year's theme is Behind the Mask, Who Heals the Healers? A reflection on mental and emotional challenges faced by healthcare workers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended best wishes to all hard-working doctors of the country. Taking on X, Prime Minister called them the true protectors of health and pillars of humanity. The Prime Minister also wished all chartered accountants on the occasion of the Chartered Accountants Day. Prime Minister Modi emphasized that the precision and expertise of CAs are essential for every organization. The goods and services tax, widely hailed as one of the biggest economic reforms, completed 8 successful years with collections rising to a record 22.8 lakh crores in fiscal year 2024-25. This marked a year-on-year growth of 9.4%, with the number of taxpayers in its ambit surging past 1.51 crore. The average monthly collection stood at 1.84 lakh crore rupees in 2024-25. In 2020-21, the total collection was 11.37 lakh crore rupees, with a monthly average of 95,000 crore rupees. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday shared a detailed reflection on the completion of 10 years of the Digital India initiative through his blog titled A Decade of Digital India. Prime Minister Modi stressed that while previous decades were marked by skepticism about Indians' ability to use technology, this government changed that approach by trusting the citizens' capabilities. Under Prime Minister's Digital India initiative, India offers one of the most affordable internet in the world, with data priced below 10 rupees per GB, less than China's 32 rupees per GB, and the United States 503 rupees per GB. In its new guidelines on financial inclusion and anti-money laundering and terrorist financing measures, the FATF, Financial Action Task Force, has extensively endorsed India's institutional mechanisms, such as Jan Dhan, in its fight against financial crime. Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav today launched the Rail One app, which is a one-stop solution for all passenger services. The app offers ease of access for services like ticketing, inquiries of trains and more. Addressing the event, the minister said that the passengers can book the unreserved ticket through the app. From July 1st, Delhi has enforced a fuel ban on end-of-life vehicles to ensure strict implementation. 350 teams from various government departments are deployed at all 498 fuel stations across the city. Coming under the ban purview are diesel vehicles older than 10 years and petrol vehicles over 15 years. From November, 5 high-traffic districts, Gurgaon, Faridabad, Ghaziabad, Gautam Buddha Nagar and Sonipat, will begin enforcing the same rule. The Indian Navy is scheduled to commission its latest stealth multi-role frigate INS Tamal today at Kaliningrad in Russia. This will be the last warship of the Indian Navy to have been built outside India and the 8th in the series of Kryvak-class frigates inducted from Russia over the past 2 decades. The Indian Navy undertook a high-risk firefighting and rescue operation on board Palau flag tanker MT Yi Cheng 6 in the North Arabian Sea, ensuring the safety of 14 Indian crew members. Prioritizing crew safety, 7 crew members were immediately evacuated to INS Tabar using the ship's boats. No injuries were reported and all crew were examined by Tabar's medical team. The latest report from Morgan Stanley's Global Investment Committee projected India's real GDP growth at 5.9% in 2025 and 6.4% in 2026, reaffirming India as the fastest growing economy. Indian equity indices ended on a positive note in the volatile session on Tuesday. At close, Sensex climbed 91 points to settle at 83,697. Nifty at the National Stock Exchange jumped 25 points to 25,542. Gold futures maturing on August 5th were priced at 97,300 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for July 4th maturity stood at 1,06,738 rupees per kilo on the MCX. At the Forex market, Indian rupee rose 25 paise to close at 85.51 rupees against the US dollar on Tuesday. Oil prices were steady on Tuesday as investors assessed expectations that OPEC Plus will announce an output hike for August at an upcoming meeting. And talking of global energy market, Brent crude was up to $66.79 a barrel, while US crude added 4 cents to $65.15 a barrel. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar appreciated the United Nations Security Council's strong condemnation of the Pahalgam terror attack and the need to hold its perpetrators accountable. Addressing the gathering at the inauguration of the exhibition on the human cost of terrorism at the UN headquarters in New York, the minister called on the international community to stand united against terrorism. The minister also underlined the shared and urgent responsibility of the global community to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Dr. Jaishankar also held a conversation with Dev Pragad of Newsweek and shared his perspectives on India's role and position in a multipolar world as a civilizational state. The White House has once again praised India's role as a strategic ally in the Indo-Pacific region during a press briefing on Monday. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt also responded to questions from reporters about the status of trade negotiations and Trump's recent comments indicating that a deal with India was near completion. Indian Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy inaugurated the international offices of 2 major Indian public sector enterprises, NMDC Limited and Mekon Limited in Dubai. The minister also engaged in productive discussions with leading CEOs and managing directors of major Indian origin companies operating in the UAE. Thailand's Constitutional Court suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra on Tuesday pending a dismissal case. Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister Suraya will be the caretaker premier after Shinawatra's suspension. The leaked call with the Cambodian leader triggered domestic outrage. The call said to defuse escalating border tensions with Cambodia. Paetongtarn criticized a Thai army commander. US President Donald Trump on Monday signed an executive order lifting US sanctions on Syria, ending the country's isolation from the global financial system. Despite this, the order keeps in place sanctions against Syria's former president Bashar al-Assad and his close associates, as well as ISIS members and Iranian-backed groups. The United States has announced a $510 million sale to Israel of bomb guidance kits and related support to enhance Israel's military capability. The arms sale announcement came ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the White House next week for talks with President Trump. US Senate Republicans sought to pass President Donald Trump's sweeping tax cut and spending bill early on Tuesday morning, despite divisions within the party. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro urged a boycott of WhatsApp, accusing it of spying and psychological warfare to destabilize his government. The Venezuelan government accused the United States of holding 18 children kidnapped during deportation process carried out by Washington to expel migrants from the country. Former South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol skipped questioning on Tuesday by a special prosecutor investigating his December declaration of martial law. In London, protesters gathered in Parliament Square on Monday to rally against proposed reforms to welfare. Police have identified the gunman who ambushed and fatally shot two firefighters responding to a forest fire in northern Idaho. We're heading for a short break. We'll be back with Express News in just a bit. Stay tuned to DD India.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. Let's resume. Wildfires in France's Aude department have scorched 400 hectares amid temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius, prompting evacuations. Fires in southern France are under control but not extinguished as Met Department issues orange heatwave alerts for 84 departments. In Turkey's Izmir province, wildfires rage for a second day, fueled by strong winds leading to mass evacuations. Over 50,000 people have been evacuated in Turkey, including 42,000 from Izmir, as fires spread across 5 regions. Germany braces for extreme heat this week, with temperatures expected to exceed 40 degrees Celsius and officials issuing public health warnings. Flash floods in northwestern Italy's Argenteuil killed 1 person and caused landslides, cutting off access to mountain roads. Heavy rains in central China killed 2 people and left 6 others missing, state media reported on Tuesday, as the country endures a summer surge in extreme weather. Storms and tornadoes caused major damage across northeast and South Dakota over the weekend. Active monsoon conditions in India are bringing heavy rainfall to northwest, central and east regions this week, according to the Indian Met Department. Delhi is under a yellow alert as the IMD forecasts light to moderate rain to continue until July the 5th. Himachal Pradesh reels under incessant rains for 72 hours, with Mandi district worst hit by the 4 cloudburst incidents. The IMD has issued a red alert for Himachal Pradesh, warning of landslides and floods in vulnerable areas. Brazil's National Museum in Rio reopens after years of restoration following a devastating 2018 fire that destroyed most of its collection. San Pedro Huamula's mayor took part in a symbolic wedding with a live caiman, a tradition meant to bring prosperity to the Mexican town. Ivory Coast unveils a new wing of its first archaeological museum after Stone Age artifacts were discovered during dam construction. Crowds gathered at Berlin's Botanical Garden to witness the rare and pungent blooming of a copse flower known for its foul odor. Thailand opens its first school built from recycled waste using over 800,000 plastic bags to aid earthquake recovery and promote sustainability. China's Tianwen-2 probe, now over 12 million kilometers from Earth, has captured stunning new images of Earth and the Moon in deep space. Japan's Mount Fuji opened to climbers from Yamanashi Prefecture on Tuesday, marking the start of the summer's climbing season. Turkmenistan celebrated the second anniversary of its high-tech smart city, Arkadag, with grand festivities filled with music and joy. Thousands of Bosnian Muslims gathered at Ajbortokovica to pray for water in one of Europe's largest Islamic events. In Vietnam, 18,000 temples and monasteries rang bells and drums in unison, praying for peace and prosperity on a historic day of administrative reform. Joby Aviation conducted the first test flight of its fully electric air taxi in the Emirate this week, a major milestone in the city's efforts to integrate airborne transport. Celebrations kick off in Himachal Pradesh's Dharamshala ahead of the 14th Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, which will be officially marked on July 6th. Devotees packed the Hanuman Gadi Mandir in Uttar Pradesh's Ayodhya to offer Tuesday prayers, drawing large crowds to the revered temple. A sequel to The Devil Wears Prada is officially in production, set to release on May 1st, 2026, exactly 19 years after the original film's debut. Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt return for The Devil Wears Prada 2, joined by Kenneth Branagh in an undisclosed role. Amazon MGM Studios have released the first trailer for Project Hail Mary, with the sci-fi film slated for release on March 20th, 2026, under directors Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Director Matt Reeves and writer Mattson Tomlin have completed the script for The Batman 2 over 3 years after the release of the original film starring Robert Pattinson. Ahead of the release of Jurassic World Rebirth, American actor Scarlett Johansson, British actors Jonathan Bailey and Rupert Friend promoted their new film in Seoul. Netflix partners with NASA to offer viewers live rocket launches and spacewalks from the ISS, with NASA Plus content remaining free online. Ivory Coast is emerging as a growing force in African cinema, with crews from across West Africa gathering near Abidjan to shoot the feature film The Testament. Vishnu Manchu's Kanappa continues its successful run at the box office despite recent reports of piracy affecting the film. Kajol's debut mythological horror thriller Ma continues its strong run, earning nearly 20 crore rupees at the box office. Bollywood actor Amir Khan's Sitare Zameen Par, the spiritual successor to Tare Zameen Par, has surpassed 125 crores in total earnings after 11 days. And on to sports news now. In tennis, world number 1 Yannick Sinner begins his bid for a maiden Wimbledon title as he takes on Luca Nardi in London on Tuesday. Novak Djokovic will start his hunt for a record 25th Grand Slam title as he faces Frenchman Alexandre Muller in the opening round of the Wimbledon. Women's singles reigning champion Barbara Krejcikova kicks off her title defense against Alexandra Ella. French Open champion Coco Gauff is pitted against Diana Yastremska in the opening round of Wimbledon. And defending champion Carlos Alcaraz survived a major scare in his Wimbledon opener. He dug deep for a 5-set win over 38-year-old Fabio Fognini. Danish 8th seed Holger Rune threw away a 2-set lead to lose to Chilean Nicolas Jarry. Rune won the opening 2 sets but lost the match. 9th seed Daniil Medvedev suffered a shock first-round defeat to French journeyman Benjamin Bonzi. Indian athlete Kishore Jaina has pulled out of the Neeraj Chopra Classic Javelin event, which is slated on Saturday in Bengaluru. Fluminense sent Inter Milan packing from the Club World Cup with a 2-0 win in Charlotte that took the Brazilian side through to the quarterfinals. Al Hilal secured a 4-3 upset victory over Manchester City in Orlando to reach the quarterfinals of the Club World Cup. Real Madrid will take on Italian club Juventus in their round 16 clash at the Club World Cup on Tuesday. England named unchanged playing 11 for the second test against India, which starts in Birmingham on Wednesday. Jasprit Bumrah is fit and available for the second test against England, but India are not giving away whether he will play at Edgbaston, given he is likely to feature in only 3 of the 5 fixtures in the series. MS Dhoni's application to trademark the phrase Captain Cool, a moniker long associated with him because of his calm on-field demeanour, has been officially accepted and published by the Trademark Registry of India. Hockey India announced the 20-member India A men's squad for the Tour of Europe, which is scheduled to take place from 8th to 20th of July. And that's it in this edition of Express News. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.